Good morning, school. In front of you, you will see two bronze sculptures. Now, they look very similar, so it's tempting to think that they were made at a similar time, but you may be surprised to know that these two sculptures were actually created over 2,000 years apart. The one on the right, as you look at it, Rodin's The Thinker, was made in 1904, whereas the one top left, The Boxer at Rest, by an unknown artist, was created around the 3rd century BC. Now, this sculpture is actually much older than this. This is the Venus of Willendorf, an Austrian sculpture. It's literally tiny. It's only a few inches high, but it's Neolithic, which means it goes back about 6,000 years, and is testament to the enduring legacy and staying power of sculpture. And now, of course, not all sculpture has much staying power. This widely ridiculed bronze of Cristiano Ronaldo was melted down and reworked shortly after its creation, due to it not actually looking very much like Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, one of the most famous statues in the world is Michelangelo's David, which you see here, carved in about 1501 out of marble. Now, the surprising thing about Michelangelo's David is not only how anatomically correct it is, but also its surprising size. It stands nearly 17 feet tall. Which gives us an indication of the amount of skill it must have taken to create. And one of the things we're going to talk about today is about giant and enormous pieces of sculpture. Now, this is the Lushan giant Buddha in China. It is over 1,200 years old. It stands over 71 meters tall and took over 90 years to build. It watches over the treacherous waters below, providing safety and comfort to the sailors. But it's actually only the 9th tallest Buddha statue in the world. Its head is 15 meters tall. Each of its ears are 7 meters long. It is the tallest pre-modern statue in the world. And it was the tallest statue in the world from its time of building until 1967. But has since been overtaken by 21 other colossal statues. The tallest Buddha statue in Thailand sits gracefully cross-legged amidst the hustle and bustle of Bangkok. Just outside Dakar in Senegal, you will see the 52-metre high African Renaissance Monument. This was completed in 2010 and was unveiled to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Senegal's independence from France. It is the tallest statue in Africa, and according to the artist, it shows Africa ready to take the future into its own hands. Now, the tallest statue in the world is in Gujarat in India. It is called the Statue of Unity. It was completed in 2018 and stands 182 meters high. It is testament to Indian independence and unity, and shows one of the prominent leaders of the Indian independence movement, Vallabhbhai Patel. It is perhaps only when you get close up, when you see the pictures and the traffic lights in this picture compared to the size of the toes, you get a sense of the true scale of this statue. It is no surprise that many of the tallest sculptures and statues in the world are religious. This is the Statue of Belief, built in Rajasthan in India in October 2022, and this is the tallest statue of the Hindu god Shiva in existence. What is clear is that modern building technologies have allowed statues to become bigger and grander. The iconic Christ the Redeemer statue stands 30 meters high over the city of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. It was built between 1922 and 1931. As the picture here shows, it was carved in pieces and then assembled together. Rio's Christ the Redeemer was replaced, however, as the tallest statue of Jesus in 2010 when Poland built the 33-metre high statue of Christ the King, taking over 5 years to build. So many giant sculptures are, of course, religious, but some are secular. One of the most famous is Mount Rushmore in South Dakota. This was built in 1941 and shows 4 American presidents: Lincoln, Roosevelt, Washington, and Jefferson. However, even this was not without controversy. The mountain in which Mount Rushmore is carved once belonged to the Lakota tribes. And the mountain was known as the Six Grandfathers. It was a location that was sacred to the Lakota tribe, and they feel that it was stolen from them and used to celebrate American presidents without their permission. This lesser seen angle of Mount Rushmore shows how it sits within the mountain range. To be frank, it was built as a tourist attraction, but of course to the Lakota tribe, they feel that this celebrates a colonial power, and actually the monument reflects the betrayal of the indigenous tribes. Such was the sense of betrayal that the Lakota tribe in 1948 decided that they needed to celebrate their own tribe and their own culture and heritage. And so plans were made for an enormous 641 feet long, 563 feet high carving into the mountainside of the Lakota warrior Crazy Horse. The idea is that he'll be riding a horse and pointing to his tribal lands. In the front of this image, you will see a model of what the finished construction would look like. In the rear, you'll see how the work is going on, and the work is taking an incredibly long time. It started in 1948, continued in 1960, 1969, 1993. You just start to see the shape of Crazy Horse's face. 2009, more work has been done. And this is the current state of play. His arm and pointing finger are done, as is his face. There is no timeline for completion. Latest estimates suggest that the horse's head will be finished sometime around 2037. What is clearly evident, however, is that the men and women that started working on Crazy Horse's statue in 1948 will not be alive to see it completed. Now, this statue is called the Apennine Colossus. It was built in 1580 and is about 11 metres high. It was built in the villa of an Italian duke, possibly for no other reason than it could to demonstrate his power and his wealth, but it's an amazing piece of architecture. It is amazing how some pieces of sculpture endure. This is the Abu Simbel temple in Egypt, an enormous temple built for the pharaoh Ramesses II in about 1200 BC. However, possibly like Shelley's poem Ozymandias, the temple was actually buried under sand for about 2,000 years, possibly marking how some kingdoms rise and fall and the passage of time. Maybe a more modern example of the vagaries of time and circumstances is Prague's Stalin Monument. Built in 1955, it was a 15-metre tall tribute to the Soviet leader Stalin. However, by 1962, following the death of Stalin, the de-Stalinization program saw the statue quite dramatically blown up. So sculpture then can reflect religious and secular power, and interestingly they can highlight both the permanent and transitory nature of that power. Now, we're very fortunate that in our local area there are some tremendous bits of sculpture that you can go and see. There's the singing ringing tree in Burnley on the right part of a series of Lancashire sculptural trails, and there's also Anthony Gormley's Another Place in Formby. So if you get the opportunity, why not go and have a look at them. Okay, thank you, school.